जय गुरुदेव सभी को। कैसे हैं आप सब? तो आज का टॉपिक है प्लैनेट्स इन डिफरेंट हाउसेस एंड स्टेप्स टू एनालाइज द सेम। तो आज हम एक प्रॉपर कुंडली देखेंगे विथ हाउसेस एंड प्लैनेट्स, और हम जानेंगे कि अलग अलग प्लैनेट्स का अलग अलग हाउसेस में क्या बिहेवियर होता है और उसको हम कैसे एनालाइज कर सकते हैं। So how is this video different from videos of or videos on the internet showing planets going to different houses? It is different because this video will show you the steps on how you can check on what are the steps you need to apply in order to understand how the planet will behave in different houses. So for example, अगर सूर्य फर्स्ट हाउस में है तो उसका बिहेवियर कैसा रहेगा, अगर सूर्य 9th हाउस में है तो उसका बिहेवियर कैसा रहेगा, अगर चंद्र 8th हाउस में जाएगा तो उसका बिहेवियर कैसा रहेगा. So we are going to be understanding the steps to analyze the significations of planets and the significations of houses and coming up with our own analysis. तो देखो, आपको कंटेंट तो मिल जाएगा गूगल पर, इंटरनेट पर वीडियोस तो भरे पड़े हैं कि ये प्लैनेट ये घर में जाकर क्या करता है. यू विल हैव ऑल दैट इंफॉर्मेशन, बट एज स्टूडेंट्स वी डोंट नीड इंफॉर्मेशन, वी नीड द एबिलिटी, वी नीड द कैपेबिलिटी टू एनालाइज, टू कम टू अ कंक्लूजन आवरसेल्व्स कि प्लैनेट जब इस हाउस में होगा तो ये ऐसा बिहेव करेगा. एंड देखो, देयर आर हाउ मेनी हाउसेस आर देयर? देयर आर 12 हाउसेस, देयर आर 9 planets. So is it possible for you to memorize all the combinations? It's not possible. So what do? Initial stages, obviously, as a student, you will be reading about it, you will be listening to videos, but as you mature, it will start coming from within you. So for example, अगर मैं एक छोटे बच्चे से बोलूंगी कि ये दूध का ग्लास है और ये चीनी है, और अगर दूध में मैंने चीनी मिलाई तो दूध का टेस्ट क्या होगा? बच्चा बोलेगा स्वीट. बट इफ द सेम क्वेश्चन यू वर टू आस्क टू अ टीनेजर और यू वर आस्क टू एन एडल्ट, उसको वियर्ड लगेगा, राइट? सो what house in a planet feels like is being an adult having the capability to feel, just to feel intuitively कि ये प्लैनेट का ये गुण है, ये हाउस का ये गुण है, ये इसमें जाएगा तो ये कैसे रिएक्ट करेगा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, उस दूध का एग्जाम्पल, दूध में अगर हमने काली मिर्ची डाल दी और हमने टेस्ट किया तो उसका फ्लेवर कैसा आएगा, राइट? एज एडल्ट्स वी कैन एनालाइज इट. मुझे तो अभी से गले में खराश होने लगी, राइट? अगर चाय में आपने केचप डाल दिया तो उसका फ्लेवर, और आपने पी लिया तो उसका फ्लेवर कैसा रहेगा, करेक्ट? सो दैट इज व्हाट वी आर डूइंग. एंड प्लैनेट की को आपको प्लैनेट का फ्लेवर पकड़ना है, आपको हाउस का फ्लेवर पकड़ना है, आप उन दोनों को मिक्स करना है और उससे आपकी कुंडली तैयार होगी. ओके, तो शुरू करने से पहले हम आंखें बंद करके 3 बार ओंकार कर लेते हैं. Yes. Can we have the presentation, please? Thank you so much. All right. On that note, let's get started. Can we have the next slide? Yes. So ये हमारे बेसिक कुंडली है. So as you can see, every house governs a different aspect of a human being. तो अगर आपने पिछले चैप्टर्स पढ़े होंगे, चैप्टर 1 इजी हैक्स टू अंडरस्टैंड हाउसेस एंड प्लैनेट्स, तो आपको पता होगा कि आप इन हाउसेस को आपको याद कैसे करना है. व्हाट आर द हैक्स दैट यू नीड टू यूज, राइट? सो इसमें जैसे कि हर एक घर, ये कहा भाई, वो एशियन पेंट्स का ऐड है ना, हर घर कुछ कहता है. ये उसमें कौन रहता है, उसमें कौन रहता है इज द राशि. राशि will be different for different people, but the house will always be the same. The signification of the house does not change. The nature of the house can change depending on the rashi, but the type of the house will change depending on the rashi, but the nature of the house as such will remain the same. So for example, fourth house will always be the house of mother. चाहे आप उसमें आपके छोटे भाई की राशि, विच इज छोटे भाई इज गवर्न बाय जेमिनी, जेमिनी की राशि भी रख दो उसमें, स्टिल फोर्थ हाउस विल ऑलवेज स्टैंड फॉर मदर. इट डज नॉट मैटर विच राशि इट इज, राइट? तो आप एक बार इन हाउसेस को ग्लांस कर लीजिए. सो व्हाट यू हैव टू डू, you first understand the houses, and can we have the next slide? Yeah, can we have the next slide please? यस. तो ये आ गए हमारे प्लैनेट्स. सो ये सारे प्लैनेट्स होते हैं हमारे फ्रॉम 9 प्लैनेट्स, 12 हाउसेस, 9 प्लैनेट्स. These are the full forms and the short forms of it. So in different kundalis, you will have these planets sitting in different houses and sitting in different rashis. Rashis will be determined by the ascendant and planets will be determined by your karma, but houses will always be stationary. तो आपको ये चैप्टर पढ़ने के लिए आपको पहले 2 चैप्टर जो हमने कवर किए थे, सिग्निफिकेशंस ऑफ हाउसेस, सिग्निफिकेशंस ऑफ प्लैनेट्स, वो दोनों अप्लाई करने पड़ेंगे और उन दोनों को हम आज मिक्स करने वाले हैं. ओके, सो लेट्स गेट राइट इनटू इट. नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज. कैन वी हैव द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज? I'm unable to move it. Next slide, please. Give me a minute. Right. Thank you so much. Please be on standby for moving the slides. Right. So this is what the crux of today's presentation is. What are the steps of interpreting planets and houses? तो आपका planet, आपका जुपिटर जहाँ बैठा है, जरूरी नहीं कि मेरा जुपिटर भी वहां बैठा हो, राइट? तो हम दोनों के जुपिटर के रिजल्ट्स अलग आएंगे, because the nature of the planet will change depending on the house it sits in. Again, a planet has a basic nature, but depending on the house, conditioning of the house it goes to, its nature changes. Okay, so what are the steps that you need to take? First, you have to visualize the planet going to that house. आपको मन में अपनी कुंडली बनानी है, आपको उस planet को visualize करना है. Then second, take the signification of that planet. Right? हमने cover किया था hacks में. What are the how to remember, how to memorize, or not memorize is not the right word. How to know the personalities of different planets, right? So take the signification of personality of that planet. Third step, take the signification of the house. This is also we had covered in the earlier chapters. Easy hacks to understanding houses in Jyotish. And fourth step, take step number 2, that is signification of the planet. Add it to the signification of house. Okay, and then write down your own interpretation about it. uh, so every astrologer will give you a different interpretation of planet going to different houses, depend, like meaning same hoga, but words people use will be different. But if you really want to become a good astrologer and you want to rise, or you want to become rise in the subject of astrology and Jyotish, learn to write your own interpretation with pen and paper. Don't type it, write it. Okay, next step. uh, See how the planet's nature will change depending on the house it sits in. Now remember this, the nature of the house will not change, the nature of the planets will change. And then finally the last step, add the aspects of the planet for the final conclusion. Aspects हमने अभी cover किए नहीं है. Maybe we'll take that up in the next class, or you can actually just join our Astro Money course and study more about the aspects of planet. But now that we are analyzing here, we will be throwing a light on the aspects of a planet. We may not go into detail today, but हम उस पर थोड़ी सी बात करेंगे. अब प्लैनेट दूसरे प्लैनेट घर में जाना कैसा होता है ना, प्लैनेट घर में जाना होता है कि आप अपने घर में रहना, आप अपने दोस्त के घर में जाना, आप अपने ट्यूशन टीचर के घर में जाना. अलग अलग जगह में आपके भाव अलग अलग होंगे, राइट. आप अपने घर में ज्यादा रिलैक्स होगे, फ्रेंड के घर में थोड़ा कम रिलैक्स होगे पर रिलैक्स होगे, और अपने ट्यूशन मास्टर के घर पर इतने ज्यादा रिलैक्स नहीं होंगे, डिपेंडिंग ऑन वेदर यू हैव डन योर होमवर्क और नॉट, राइट. प्लैनेट भी वैसे ही फील करता है अलग अलग हाउसेस में. सो हम बोलेंगे like for example, moon is very uncomfortable in the 8th house and sun is super comfortable in the 1st house, the 5th house and the 10th house, correct? Okay, because these are the houses that they that either align with their nature, align with the kind of people they are, or they are uncomfortable because they don't align with their nature. So it's very important to understand the nature of slash personality of the house and the planet. So let's start. Next slide, please. Yeah, can we have the next slide? So, before we start, I'd just like to give a warning to the viewers. हम कोई specific charts analyze नहीं कर रहे हैं. आज हम जो steps apply करने वाले हैं वो एक कालपुरुष chart पर apply होगी. So whether it is a Kalpurush chart or whether it is your chart, you have a mean ascendant, your friend has a Scorpio ascendant, your mother has a Gemini ascendant, ये steps जो हम करने वाले हैं वो सारे charts पे लागू होंगी, because the nature of the house does not change. We are not adding the conditionings of rashis, we are not adding the conditioning of lordships. तो आपको अगर ज्ञान ऑलरेडी है राशि और लॉर्डशिप्स का, तो उसको जरा साइड में रखिए और आज सिर्फ प्योरली द बेस, ओके, द बेस ऑफ द पिज्जा. नो टॉपिंग्स, नो चिलीज, नो चीज. Just concentrate on the base of the pizza today and see how it behaves. So we are going to talk purely about houses and planets. So please note, this applies to all charts as it is a general analysis. Right? Okay. Next slide, please. Let's start with the analysis. I understand that हम पूरे 12 के 12 घर और 9 के 9 planets cover नहीं कर पाएंगे. So what we will do is we will do Sun, Moon, Rahu and Ketu today. Okay. And बाकी अब आपको जब ये flow आ जाएगा ना, एक टेम्पलेट आ जाएगा कि लिखते कैसे हैं, पढ़ते कैसे, विजुअलाइज कैसे करते हैं, तो आप खुद भी अपने नोटबुक में लिख सकते हो. Yeah, practice is very important especially in the initial stages of Jyotish. So Sun in the 1st house. So as you can see, we have a planet called Sun going in the 1st house. So आप कुंडली में आपको ऐसे दिखेगा, सूर्य पहले स्थान में जा रहा है. तो आप 3 चीजें निकाल सकते हो इससे. First, this is the template I'm giving, okay? मतलब बंदे का नेचर क्या होगा, फर्स्ट थिंग बंदे का नेचर क्या होगा, बंदा मतलब द नेटिव का नेचर क्या होगा, उसके पॉजिटिव एस्पेक्ट्स क्या होंगे. जब सूर्य 1st हाउस पे जाएगा, what will be the positive aspects or what will be the negative aspects. So like this, you will be able to come up with the complete analysis, because anything has a good side and a bad side. Now let's start with basic nature. Okay, so how will the native be like? So Sun is a planet of confidence. It shows is the planet of self, and 1st house is your body, it's your health, and Sun is also called Arogyapati. So I can say that when sun goes to the first house, is iski health बहुत अच्छी रहेगी. This person will be a leader because sun is going into your buddhi. You think from here. So when you think like sun, you're basically thinking like a leader. And the sun, he will also be very conscious of his health, right? And one more positive trait about people who have sun in the first house is that they are very self-sufficient, क्योंकि सारे resources राजा के पास होते हैं. They are very ethical. They are meant to live a very public life because from sun here aspects the seventh house, which is how other people view you. Other people is seventh house. So when seventh house is looking at you, it is going to look at you as a king or a leader. Okay, you are going to you will have a very positive relationship with yourself, and you will most probably be self-employed or doing something of your own. करेक्ट. तो आपके चेहरे पे तेज होगा. अब नेगेटिव एस्पेक्ट्स क्या हो सकते हैं इसके? नेगेटिव एस्पेक्ट्स हो सकते हैं कि सन कैन क्रिएट टू मच ऑफ ईगो. आई मी माई सेल्फ. यू मे थिंक कि मुझे ही सब कुछ आता है, सारा ज्ञान मुझे ही है, बिकॉज यू आर बेसिकली यू बिकम सो सेल्फ सफिशिएंट दैट यू स्टार्ट टू फील मुझे किसी की जरूरत नहीं है. ऐसा नहीं होता, राजा को भी प्रजा चाहिए. करेक्ट. एंड बिकॉज it's a fire planet going into the house which is governed by a fire planet, at least for Kalpuru's sake, and first house में भी the nature of first house is fire only. तो आपको गुस्सा बहुत आ सकता है, especially when people don't listen to you. Okay, yeah, move on. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay. So now sun has gone to the second house. अभी second house क्या होता है? Second house is your family, your wealth, your savings, your mouth, your food, your taste, your preference. So when a planet like the king goes into the second house of culture, you will be a person who's royalty, who's very refined, जो राजा की तरह बोलता हो, जिसको सुनने के लिए लोग आते हैं. You know, not necessarily like a leader, but as somebody who speaks very well, जिसके communication skills बहुत inspiring हो, right? And you will come from a good family. You will have a royal legacy, and your food habits, because second house is also food. It is sustenance. It is a gain of the first house, right? So you will be very not self-sufficient in your life, but you will be sufficient from your family side. First house में देखा आप self-sufficient हो. Second house में you are provided well by your family. Your father could also be an artist, because it is the house of Shukra as per Kalpurush chart, right? And you can also have an interest in Jyotish, because from here sun aspects the seventh house. So sun has only one aspect, this is the seventh aspect, and it looks at the house of Jyotish, which is the eighth house, right? And eighth house is also hidden wealth या खानदानी पैसा. तो second house भी wealth हो गया, eighth house भी wealth हो गया. So you can have lot of family support, wealth support, family support in terms of wealth and not facility, wealth and money and ancestral properties. Ancestral wealth, properties make it confusing because that's more like a fourth house, but ancestral wealth, right? Now, what can be the negative side of someone like that? Negative side can be because it's sun. Sun को विच्छेदकारी ग्रह कहते हैं. It can create, विच्छेद means to separate. So it can create a separation between you and the family. You may just want control over your complete family assets. You can be very proud and egoistic. If you're in the second house, like you know, वो type के लोग होते हैं ना, तू जानता नहीं मेरा बाप कौन है, तू जानता नहीं मैं किस खानदान से आया हूँ. These are the ones. And you can be very picky about your food habits. मतलब आपको गरम खाना चाहिए. आप कल का खाना या 2 घंटे पहले का खाना नहीं खा सकते, because sun is a hot sattvic planet, right? And मतलब इसमें आपके मन में आपको एक ऐसा सर में आ जाता है कि I am very rich and others are not as rich as me, right? Next slide, please. Right. Now, Sun in the third house. Sun is quite happy in the third house because it's power, right? What? See, all fiery planets need a mission. The Sun, Mars, and Jupiter, they all fiery planets. उनको सब एक mission चाहिए. They want to direct their fire towards something. So third house पराक्रम का भाव है, मीडिया का भाव है, जर्नलिज्म का भाव है, bravery और courage का भाव है. And what better place for Sun to prove his leadership, his bravery as a king. To be a king, you need to be bold, you need to be brave. So in the third house, the person, what the planet is telling you, I'm sitting in your third house and I have given you the skills to be a good sports person. I have made you a magnetic personality because I have given you a lot of talent. So third house are things that you do with your hands. So when sun sits there, आपके जो भी talent, आपके जो भी hobbies या talents होंगे, उसको ऊपर एक light गिराता है. So that will come to the forefront. लोग आपके hobbies को देख पाएंगे. आप एक अच्छे writer भी बन सकते हो because third house is the house of writing and sun is the self. Sun in the third house can make you extremely intelligent. So whatever you write from a place which is very true to yourself, right? And it is also the house of documents. तो इससे आपको एक अच्छी गवर्नमेंट जॉब भी मिल सकती है, आप अच्छे एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर भी बन सकते हो. And from here the sun looks at the ninth house. Ninth house is a house of higher learning. It is the house of our gurus. So you can do very well in spirituality. You can do very well in terms of going abroad and getting your higher studies. And yes, it can make you a very good salesman. जिसको देख के लोग आप पर विश्वास करेंगे because sun is basically an ethical planet. Now, what can be the negative side to it is that third houses are the house of younger siblings. So your personality can be so strong that आपके छोटे भाई की personality, you will cast a shadow on your younger siblings personality. आपके छोटे भाई की personality आपके personality के नीचे दब जाएगी. Because wherever the sun goes, वो उस area को sparkle कर देता है. It makes sure wherever it is going, you shine in that area. And your shine is so bright that it fades out others. So your younger sibling can fade out. You can have a poor relationship with your younger sibling in terms of fighting over ego issues. You can be overconfident and egoistic in your speech. You can get carried away in self glorification. And आपको social media पे रहना पसंद होगा, अपने आप के गुण गाना पसंद होगा. Next slide please. Right. Now, sun in the fourth house. Sun in the fourth house is very good to become a politician. Now, what is happening is sun is your self. Fourth house is your personal space, your heart space. So, such a person is confident, is like a king, is ambitious, but at home. जितना थर्ड हाउस में पब्लिक के तरफ था, उतना फोर्थ हाउस में अपने तरफ है. So, these people will fight for their homeland and they will like to do a business which is based from home. They want everything to come to them rather than they going to someplace else. These people will have a good career. They will have rise. They will see a rise in their assets, their conveyances and facilities in life, because fourth house is the house of assets and conveyances, which will be given to them by the father, right? And because sun is in the house of moon, so this can show two things. Your mother can be like your father figure, or your father can your father was made all the decisions at home which your mother should have made, right? This can make you a very good artist, because fourth house is your personal, because fourth house are your personal feelings. It's all about poetry. It's all about creative expression, which you think in your heart, right? What you feel inside. So, and wherever sun goes, it just lights that talent up. But it's not something you will show to other people. You can have a career. You can have a career in the creative arts. You can be a self-made businessman, because from the fourth house, sun looks at the house of career, which is 10th house. Now, negative aspects is that you can have confrontations with the mother, because it's sun is a Vichedkari graha. You want to dominate your family assets, you can become more greedy for land, because what does the sun do? Sun wants to conquer. Okay, and because आपके फोर्थ हाउस पे आपके सन का इतना प्रेशर पड़ रहा है, so just if depending on other things in your chart, how is the lordship of the sun and what are the aspects on the fourth house, your father can really dominate your personal thoughts, as in you will not have any personal freedom of expression. And your mother can also be dominating in your chart, depending on other afflictions on the sun and afflictions on the fourth house. Next slide, please. I'm sorry. Okay, sun in the fifth house. Now this is like sun coming to its own home, right? Because in the Kalpurus chart, sun is the natural ruler of the fifth house. Because in fifth house, kaun si rashi hoti hai? Leo. So sun is very happy in the fifth house, because fifth house is a house of fame. It is a house of higher learning. It is a house of Purva Punya. It is a house of it's the third of the third. So it is your hidden talents coming to light, coming to be seen by public, right? And sun loves public. Sun loves to be on stage. Sun loves to be a performer. So being here can make you a very creative performer. It can make you a politician who is very respected by the public. It also shows that your father is probably can be in government services, and that your father is respected by the public. And sun in fifth house makes you very intelligent. आपको higher wisdom बहुत जल्दी आएगी. You would have been a good student in class. You would be a natural leader in your class if you were a student. And you are very good at marketing. You're very good at talking to people. You're very good at going up on stage, or people with sun in the fifth house can just go up on stage and give an extempore speech. उनको topic दे दो और वो बोल लेंगे. That's the kind of confidence sun gives you, because from the fifth house it looks at the house of public and social circles, which is the 11th house. 11th में आपकी जनता है, right? And this is also a good combination if you ever want to trade on stock markets, because sun gives you that vision, that clarity to see, okay, stock markets में क्या चल रहा है, क्योंकि आपकी बुद्धि साफ हो जाती है, आपकी मेमोरी साफ रहती है. Fifth house is also the house of memory. It is a house of your mind. Mind in the sense of memory. But what are the negative traits? Fifth house is a house of children. So when sun goes there, you can have issues with your children. You can be too much interfering into their affairs, because आप sun fifth house में तो आपका as it is आत्मविश्वास ऑल टाइम हाई पर है. आप जनता की तरफ देख रहे हो, तो आपके मन में भाव है कि मैं जो बोलूंगा जनता के लिए अच्छा बोलूंगा, तो मैं जो जानता हूँ, I know what's best for everybody, right? And when sun goes to the fifth house, it's very difficult for anybody else in your own field to grow, because as such you are casting a shadow on other performers, right? Now sun in the sixth house. Now sixth house is when Raja stepping into the battlefield. Though sun does well here, but it is not a preferred position for the sun, because sun आप राजा को कमांड देना आता है, राजा को लड़ाई का आदेश देना आता है मंगल को, और मंगल लड़ता है, सूर्य नहीं लड़ते. However, since the sun also likes to win and conquer, sun will make you very disciplined here. He will make you a fighter, and sun will kill all your enemies. मतलब आपके जो enemies in the sense actual enemies, competitive exams, other obstacles, health related obstacles अगर आएंगे तो sun उनको नाश कर देगा. Because विच्छेदकारी ग्रह होने का मतलब ये भी है कि उस हाउस के जो significations है उसको destroy करना. For example, third house was major significator was younger brother. Sixth house major significators are ऋण रोग शत्रु. उसका complete नाश कर देता है सूर्य, और उसको it purifies it in a way, right? You can actually earn from stock markets, because now from fifth, as per Kalpurus chart, being the ruler of fifth, it has gone second from itself. So you can earn from your creative pursuits, right? It can also make you spiritual. It can take you into seva, because sixth house is a house of seva. आप सेवा में करने में बहुत तत्पर रहोगे, और अगर आपने, if you decide to go into spirituality, or you want to go to uh, ashram in a foreign land to study, that will actually be very good for you. You want to work in an MNC, this is a very good combination, because being in the house of job, it looks at the house of foreign country, which is 12th house. So sun in the 6th house will give you a desire to win. It can make you it will make you complain about everything. आप हमेशा debate करना पसंद करोगे, and you would want to win it, and you'll not be able to accommodate the needs of others. So that is one negative aspect of sun in the 6th. And here sun को ना calculation करना पड़ता है, because it's the house of Mercury, and sun doesn't like calculating too much. Right, he just wants to know what are the figures and what command I need to give. So that way sun is uncomfortable. Yeah, next slide. Let's talk about sun in the 7th house. Okay, so sun going in the 7th house. I'll wait for the slide to change, but meanwhile I'll just finish talking about it. So when sun goes into the 7th house, it's not a very good thing, because what is 7th house? What 7th house is the house of, so is the house of parting, is the house of business relationship, it is a house of marketplace. तो राजा अपने गद्दी से उतरकर 7वें घर में जा रहा है, mixing with people. He is now in the market and asking people to come do business with it. It's looking for a job. It is looking to clear interviews. Now a person who's been treated like who is a king will not like to go and appear for multiple interviews, because the king has an ego, right? Why do I need to go through an interview? However, because the sun is the planet of the self, and they always want to a person jiska sun bahut acha ho will always want to give justice to people. So this can actually make you a very good lawyer. This can be good for show business, because you will shine in the public, right? However, your relationship with your spouse may not be very good. It can give you low self-esteem, may not be very good, because you will overpower your spouse. It will all be about you. It will all be about you, your spouse actually satisfying your ego, giving you your praises, and you never validating her. Yeah, sun in the 7th house tries to seek validation. Uska self-esteem low ho jata hai, because it's gone from the self to others. It's gone in the house of public, and it looks at public to validate it. मतलब आपने अगर मैं interview clear, आपने अगर मुझे approve कर दिया, so that's a validation that I am good. अगर जनता ने बोल दिया मैं एक superstar हूँ, तो मैं superstar हूँ. So that is how the sun feels here. They demand respect, but a sun who is in a good house never has to demand respect. It just shines. Here sun struggles for that public validation to shine. किसी को बोलना पड़ता है आप राजा हो. Right. Next slide. Sun in the 8th house. So it is going, sun in the 8th house is like going into a dark room, locking the sun up. एक सूरज को आपने dark room में lock up करके रख दिया. That is how the sun feels here. 8th house is darkness. 8th house is pitch black. 8th house is the study of occult scientist. So when sun goes here, अगर आप एक अंधेरे कमरे में दिया जलाओगे तो वो जलेगा, correct? But does the sun feel happy here? No, because sun has now gone into something which is hidden. 8th house is also deep water, and sun likes to shine bright for the public. It's a very public planet, right? तो यहाँ पर जाके क्या होता है? The sun is still shining. The shine is still there, but it is hidden. So you are the person who believes in astrology, believes in occult, believes in siddhis, believes in something spiritual studies, something occultish, but you will not talk about it to public. आप अपने अंदर रहोगे, and you will secretly practice it. This is very good for people who want to join a secret service agency, like a government secret service agency. It is good for getting wealth from your in-laws, because 8th is the family of your spouse, aka your in-laws. और अगर आपको यहाँ पर आपका जो सेल्फ है वो गहराई में जाना चाहता है, वो पब्लिक में नहीं आना चाहता. What is sun saying to you? I want to go into the depths and I want to excel at depths. I don't care कोई मेरे लिए ताली बजाए, मुझे स्टेज मिले या ना मिले. मंत्र साधना करने के लिए सूर्य बहुत अच्छा होता है, because as 5th lord he is going into the 8th house. So it's very good for people who want to get into sadhana, people who want to get into meditation. And it looks at the second house. So आपके hidden sources of wealth से आपकी income बढ़ेगी. However, because sun is Arogyapati, when it goes to 8th house, you can have health issues, you can have issues with your in-laws, and it can also get you addicted क्योंकि आपका जो self है, आपका जो soul है, वो addictions में जा रहा है and gambling. Next slide. Okay, sun in the ninth house is one of the best placements because here it is considered a blessing of God. You will be very good uh, in higher studies, in learning about higher spiritual wisdom, and going abroad for your studies. You will be very lucky in terms of wealth. You will be very fortunate and favored by the government officials. So government official, आपको government job चाहिए तो इससे ज़्यादा बेहतर placement नहीं हो सकती. And your father will be very lucky for you. Your gurus will give you all kinds of knowledge. You will have access to higher knowledge. You can become a very good lawyer, very good judge from this house, and you will be the kind of person who will be writing down the policies of a nation, right? Your children will make you lucky because from fifth is because ninth house is fifth from the fifth. So that will increase your bhagya. Your children will increase your bhagya. However, sun in the ninth house का downfall क्या है? Ninth house is my religious opinions. So sun is the king. So you can have very strong religious beliefs. Meaning यही धर्म है तो यही धर्म सही है, बाकी धर्म गलत है. You can have that kind of attitude. You can be very rigid in your viewpoint. You can have arguments with your gurus because you can think that मुझे सब आता है, because Surya in ninth house can make you a little घमंडी when it comes to having ज्ञान. और आप चाहोगे कि आप अपना व्यूज दूसरों के ऊपर रखो, correct? And you can have a difference of opinion with your father. Okay, next is sun in 10th house. Sun in 10th house is extremely good for government jobs because here sun gets something called digbal. It will make you very responsible, hardworking. आप अपने वर्क प्लेस में इतना शाइन करोगे that you will be the most prominent person in your workplace. You will be your visibility, जो बोलते हैं ना floor पे, in corporate we use this term visibility. You will be very visible in your workplace. You will, because of your hard work, your dedication. And sun is also good here for making you a politician, for making you an actor. And this is a person who loves to work solo. And this is a person who's not working as a leader anymore because it's in the right sign of Capricorn, but it is a servant leader. Servant leader is a leader who pushes the team from behind, not the guy who leads the team from the front. But यहाँ पे issue होता है कि you can have issues with authority because you like to work solo. आपको वो बोलते हैं ना इंडिपेंडेंट कंट्रीब्यूटर की तरह काम करना पसंद आएगा. आप बहुत एम्बिशियस हो और इससे आपको आपके बॉस में अनबन हो सकती है, राइट? Okay, next slide. But your family life will be blessed because sun looks at the 4th house. Sun in the 11th house. This will make you very social, very visible, not just in terms of your workplace, but to the public overall. It is very good if you want to have a career in stock markets because 11th house is the house of gains of your career, and from there sun looks at the house of stocks, which is stock markets, which is 5th. This is very good for earning money from stock markets, and you will have so what the sun is saying here is, I will put my soul in fulfilling my desires. So when the sun wants something, it gets done. So the sun will be shining among public, your desires will be fulfilled. Actors, singers some of them have this placement. The negative side is that you will have issues with your older sibling. You will be over ambitious, you will have a lot of desires, and because sun is now interacting with the social public, it again, like the 7th house, it wants validation, it wants to prove itself, in it to its friends. तो वो आपके हेल्थ के लिए, आपके मेंटल पीस के लिए डिटोरेटिंग हो सकता है. And you have a tendency to exaggerate about your abilities. Next slide. Okay. Sun in the 12th house. So sun in the 12th house is basically telling you that सूर्य को अभी आश्रम जाना है, सूर्य को अभी अभी मुझे आश्रम, योर मेंटालिटी विल बी मुझे अभी आश्रम जाना है, मुझे अभी ज्ञान चाहिए, मुझे फ्लैशी चीजें नहीं चाहिए, मुझे शाइन नहीं करना, मुझे अटेंशन सीख नहीं करना. Rather, I just want to find my peace and solace in the ashram of my guru or in a foreign land. With this placement, if you go to foreign land or if you apply for foreign embassy services or if you want a spiritual career, you will get it because your soul's purpose is now abroad. You will have a very good intuition. You can have sudden enlightenment in spiritual things. However, because your soul is gone into the house of the subconscious mind, it is also the house of accidents, of jails, of psychopathy. So, depending on how afflicted son is, you can also do crimes, like as a government officials, do crimes in abroad. So, for example, you have heard of these officials जो Mauritius में जाके अपना पैसा डालते हैं, जो Swiss बैंक में जाके पैसा डालते हैं. So these government officials, what are they doing? They're doing financial crimes abroad. So this is what can happen, and you can be distant from your father. Your father can have a job which takes him away from you. Your father could be working abroad. Next slide. Okay. So moon in the first house, first house, the native will be very pleasant, will have a pleasant body, will be influenced by the mother. तो उसकी वो माँ जैसा सोचेगा, ठीक है. Person will be very nurturing. He will be blessed with all conveyances in life, and this is one of the best placements to have. However, this person will be a little moody because जहाँ moon बैठता है वहाँ पे instability create करता है और उसके मन and बुद्धि दोनों एक जैसे होंगे. He will operate from his feelings and rather than his intellect. Next slide. Okay, so when moon, we'll wait for the slide to change. Okay, so now when goes to the second house, what do you think it can be? Culture meets moon. So moon loves it here. Okay, so आपका shopping, आपका liquid cash, आपका culture, sweet speech, सारे moon and second house से देखने को मिलते हैं. We will also be looking at celebrities charts who have this. So you can have a very nice voice. However, you can be indulgent in sensory pleasure. Moon is liquid, so you can be addicted to drinking depending on how moon is afflicted. और आपका जो wealth रहेगा initial phase में थोड़ा instability होगी उसमें. And people with moon in the second house should avoid overindulgence in sensory pleasures and over dependent on families for their sustenance. Next slide. So when moon goes in the third house, moon is not exactly happy in the third house because moon को अभी fight करना पड़ता है. But moon is a soft, gentle planet. However, the positive aspects of such a person is that whenever they write from their heart. It's a very good combination for being a poet. It is a very good combination for teaching as well because from third it looks at the ninth. So moon also has seventh aspect, and your mind wants to do multiple things. This is also a very good placement if you want to have multiple hobbies. However, it can create confusion क्योंकि आपकी hobbies इतनी बढ़ जाती हैं, आपके mind में समझ में नहीं आ रहा मैं कौन से hobbies pick करूं, और आप इतना effort नहीं डालोगे life में. मतलब ये वो लोग होते हैं जो effort नहीं डालना चाहते कुछ करने के लिए because moon वहां पे जाके आपके courage को, कुछ करने की चाह को मार देता है because everything becomes easy. Okay, next slide. Let's look at moon in the fourth house. So when moon goes in the fourth house, it is most comfortable there because it is its own house. So यहाँ पे you can be very pampered by your mom. Your mom is like the ideal picture वाली माँ जो खाना खाया, स्वेटर बेटा स्वेटर पहनो, and all her energy will be at home. So you will also be the kind of person who likes to put their energies at home. You can be a very good interior decorator, and you would like to have, if at all you have a career, you'd like to have a career which takes you more towards working from home and gives you and makes you go into feminine things like fashion designing, interior decoration, or starting a creche for school children. Next slide. But here a person becomes very introverted to the point that they don't want to step out of their house, and their mind is only मैं घर कब जाऊंगा. Next slide, please. Okay. Now, next slide. Let's look at moon in the fifth house. Moon in the fifth house will make you a very attractive person to the public. You will have very good romantic relationships. और ये मंत्र सिद्धि का भी स्थान है फिफ्थ हाउस. सो आपके मन से आप जब मंत्र करोगे वो डायरेक्टली आपके मन पे इफेक्ट होगा, ना कि कॉन्शियस माइंड पे, डायरेक्टली आपके मन पर इफेक्ट होगा. दैट्स अ वेरी गुड थिंग. You will you will have the kind of mind which just picks up everything because moon is liquid. So and moon किसी भी चीज की personality ले लेता है. Because it is liquid, it can take the shape of any container it is placed. You will be very loved by the public, and your education will also be in a very nice, soft, sober way. However, you can have mood swings, and if it is afflicted, the people's opinion about you will keep changing. And here you can be a little obsessed with because moon is obsession, and moon can make you obsessed, and because moon is in the house of Leo, and Leo wants to shine, so you can be obsessed with shining in public. Right? Next slide. So moon is in the sixth house. Sixth house is the house of competition. So imagine a person who is a poet has gone to an akhada. तो उसको कैसा फील होगा? बिल्कुल अच्छा फील नहीं होगा. So that is what moon feels. Moon feels like it now has to compete. Moon wants everybody to work together and cooperate. But in sixth house, moon has now your mind is now telling you, okay, I need to compete. I need to beat this guy. I need to come first. And you are 24/7 into competition. But this is a good combination to be a vet. Next slide, please. Moon in the sixth house. But this is a very good slide to be a veterinarian. Because sixth house is also the house of small animals. आपको अगर डॉक्टर बनना है तो आप moon in the sixth house को देख सकते हो, because you care about the sick, you care about people who need medicines, you care about people who are ill, and you want to nurture people who are put in mental asylums or ashrams, because from the sixth house moon looks at the 12th house. Next slide, please. Okay, while we wait, I'll just quickly finish it. Let's go to the moon in the seventh house. So moon in the seventh house, you will have a spouse who is very loving, very caring, very mothering. However, this can also show interference from your mom in your marriage. Depending if the moon is not afflicted, depending on the afflictions, this can also give you a tendency to cheat, because आप सब decisions अपने मन से ले रहे हो. Because चंद्रमा की कितनी पत्नियां थी? 27 wives, right? And he was never satisfied with one wife. So you have so much love for the public, and public have so much love for you, that you want to share that love with everyone. So ज़्यादा राजेश खन्ना बनने के भी अपने डाउन पॉइंट्स है. If your husband is राजेश खन्ना or ऋतिक रोशन, you will be very careful of them, right? और कहीं ना कहीं आप, if you are राजेश खन्ना and ऋतिक रोशन, कहीं ना कहीं आप भी फिसलोगे जब आपके पीछे इतने सारे अच्छे लोग आ रहे हैं. This can make you a very good PR, because your connect with people is very good. It's good for if you want to start any business association, you want to start your own business. This is a very good place. If you want to be an artist, this is a very good place. Okay, now let's look at moon in the eighth house. Eighth house, this is not the best placement for moon. It shows a tendency for depression, because your mind is now gone into addictions. It is now gone into an energy of self-sadism. However, if there are positive afflictions, this can make you a very good astrologer, because आपको astrology मन से करने का मन है. आप मंत्र सिद्धि में अच्छा कर सकते हो, आप रिसर्च में अच्छा कर सकते हो, और आपको a good family inheritance मिल सकती है. However, this can also indicate that your mom may have sudden health issues, and there will be a lot of ups and downs in your family life, because being the lord of the fourth, it has gone to the 8. But if you want to build yourself emotionally, like if you want to be a psychologist, like home-based business, this is very good, because fourth from the fifth is 8th house. Next is moon in the ninth house. Moon in the ninth house is again a fantastic placement. It is good for higher learning. It is if you want to become a teacher in a university, a college, you want to teach students from abroad, this is a very good combination. Or you want to be a teacher online, this is also a very good combination. You will be a good lawyer. आपको food blogger बनना है तो आप वो बन सकते हो because it looks at the house of social media. Moon will take you away from a moon will take you away from home when it is in this placement. You will find your mental peace in higher wisdom, higher religion, and being with your gurus. Again, moon, you will become very emotional and opinionated about your religion and your beliefs. And आप ये भी हो सकता है कि आपके मन में भाव आ जाए कि मुझे सब आता है और सब मुझे पसंद करते हैं. I know the best, but only difference is that आप किसी को नीचा नहीं दिखा रहे हो उसमें, right? Now, moon in the 10th house. So this is a very good combination to become a diplomat at work. You will be a workaholic because your mind has now gone into the place of work. So whatever your moon is, you are obsessed with that, right? तो आप अपने colleagues को अपने family की तरह यहाँ पे treat कर सकते हो, right? Now you have moon in the 11th house. Right. So moon in the 11th house will, the good news is moon will give you a lot of materialistic gains, a lot of wealth. You will have good money, your money from your elder siblings. You will have good relationship with public. This is also a very good placement for PR. It is a very good placement for wealth and income actually. But is moon comfortable here? Not really, because moon has to work hard to get all those things. मुझे पैसे चाहिए, मुझे प्रतिष्ठा चाहिए, तो मुझे उसके लिए काम करना पड़ेगा because now it is in the राशि of Aquarius. But still, you will have a very good self-image. I mean, you will be loved at least. Right, moon in the 12th house, very hidden emotions. And moon in the 12th house is mostly in the combination of foreign bureaucrats who like to go abroad and find their mental peace there. मतलब foreigners जो इंडिया आते हैं ना और वाराणसी में कुंभ के मेले में जाते हैं और बोलते हैं I came here and I found solace. This is what it is like. And because your mind is in the house of bed pleasures, you could be addicted to sex, you could be deluded, and if the moon is very badly placed, you can have psychopathic tendencies. All the crimes you pढ़ते हो ना, passionate crimes and psychological issues, that person will have moon in the 12th house. How good or bad it is, again, depends on afflictions. Right, so I think that's all the time we have for today. So we have covered sun and moon. Can we go to the slide which says quiz? Skip. After Rahu, it is Ketu, and then we have quiz. Next. I keep going. Okay, go back. Go back. Go one slide back. Yeah, right. So this is the quiz for today. So on your left hand side, we have the planet Mars sitting in the first house. And as you come clockwise, you can see Jupiter is sitting in the third house. और उसके नीचे Mercury is in the fourth house. And finally, Shani is in the fifth house. So your homework for today is to write down in the comment section what you think. What you think. आपको भी पता चला flavors कैसे mix करना है. First house is flavor of self, is a flavor of your body, is a flavor of your health. Mars is passion. It is action. It is a soldier. तो वो जब first house में जाएगा तो it is spice. So when it matches with goes into the first house, your body and aggression, how will that combination be? वो व्यक्ति कैसा दिखेगा आपको? You just have to close your eyes, imagine these flavors mixing together, and write it down. Then Shani going into the fifth house. Fifth house is a house of fame, but Shani has an inferiority complex. So how do you think Shani will do in the house of fame? And Jupiter again gone to third house. Do you think Jupiter is really comfortable in third house? Third house is a house of your courage, your parakram. So what do you think a planet like Jupiter, who is all knowing, who does not like to do efforts, how do you think this person will be? So write down what you feel in the comments section, and the more you write, the more it will come to you, because it is extremely subjective. What I feel about Jupiter going to the third house, you may feel differently, right? But आपको आपको क्या करना है ना, एग्जैक्टली आपको भाव पकड़ने, सही गलत ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, पर अगर आपने भाव पकड़ लिया प्लैनेट का और अपने भाव पकड़ लिया हाउस का, तो आपसे ये ऑटोमेटिकली निकलेगा, आपको मेमोराइज करने की जरूरत नहीं है. वैसे तो इस पीपीटी में हमारे पास मार्स से लेकर शनि और बाकी सारे 9 प्लैनेट्स के कॉम्बिनेशन है, पर आप कितना सीखोगे, राइट? सो फील आउट द प्लैनेट्स, write it down in the comment section for Mars, Jupiter, Sun and Mercury, what you see on the slides, and we can have a nice discussion as to what you think, what others think. क्योंकि ज्योतिष में जब तक आप बहस नहीं करोगे ना, जब तक आप डिबेट नहीं करोगे ना, तब तक आपको ज्योतिष नहीं आएगी, क्योंकि ये रट्टा मारने वाला सब्जेक्ट नहीं है, ये किताबों पढ़ने वाला सब्जेक्ट नहीं है, ये बोलना, सुनना, श्रवण, मनन, निधिध्यासन और वचन, इन सारी चीजों का सब्जेक्ट है. So write down in the comment section, we will have a nice discussion on what you think these planets will do in different houses, and as also what you can do as astrology students is, जैसे मैंने sun के यहाँ लिखे थे, sun in the first house to 12th house, moon from 1st to 12th house, Rahu from 1st to 12th house and Ketu from 1st to 12th, which we couldn't cover today. आप भी लिखना शुरू करो. Do it for all the 9 planets and all 12 houses. And just keep writing what you feel, and then you will see how लिखते लिखते आपकी accuracy बढ़ने लगेगी. Okay, so that's it for today. I'll see you in the comments section, and if you have any doubts, any questions, any concerns, you can write to me. You can reach out to our Astrolok team about the latest course which is coming up called Astro Money, and we will see you there. Thank you so much, and Jai Gurudev.